Hey guys, first regardsman here, and I'll be talking about a Lord Executioner's Axe build for the Assault class in Space Marine 2 patch 14. Now, the Lord Executioner's Axe is one of the better melee weapons in this patch. It feels pretty damn good to use. The heroic perk effect is called Whirling Strike. Aftershock is replaced by a powerful spinning attack, and hitting 5 or more enemies with a single attack grants 1 Adrenaline Surge stack. This is super underrated, is a very fun perk effect, and the spinning attack here, the backswing on this, will do a ton of damage to enemies behind you, and usually catches enemies that you would pretty much never expect. So way better than it sounds initially, and actually a ton of fun to use. Now, unfortunately, the enemies Enlightened Zangors and Zoanthropes, it is much harder to catch them with this than say a normal Aftershock, which is a normal downside of the weapon. Now, for the perk tree setup, I do start off with Perpetual Strength first, moving here to the perk Fast Preparation. Aftershock preparation times reduced by 30%. You pretty much always take this on the Thunderhammer. It does not matter if it's a heroic version or a relic tier version. Aftershock is just that good, and a 30% reduction in prep time is way better than Calm Before the Storm. Next perk here is Perpetual Strength, up here into the perk Perpetual Strength again. Then I pick up the perk combo Shattering Impact and Seismic Chain. Now, this one gives you an additional ground slam after the first one, which is actually pretty good on this weapon because it is a bit faster than the relic tier block version. Next perk here is Perpetual Strength, down here into the perk Aftershock. After hitting an enemy with an Aftershock, you'll deal 10% more melee damage for 10 seconds. Now, in my testing, this did not work on the second swing of the Aftershock on the Rolling Strike, but it's still definitely a good perk to take because free damage is free damage, and a 10-second uptime is quite substantial. Though if you do want to skip over this for the Pommel Smash perk here, the perk over here, Reeling Blow, or even things up here like Offense Initiated, you definitely can. Next perk here is Kill Streak into the perk Aftershock Improved. Aftershock gains an additional smash. So what this does on the Lord Executioner's Axe is it gives you a final overhead after the 2 spins, which is actually pretty strong for hitting breakpoints against certain enemies. I would definitely suggest taking this 100% of the time on any hammer, but especially this one. Next perk here is Minora Slayer, up here into Majora Slayer, and that is all there is for Lord Executioner's Axe setup. Now, for the secondary weapon, I do take the newly buffed Bolt Carbine one-handed option. Now, this one is definitely better than it was in patch 13. They upped the total ammo reserves on this thing. They also buffed up the base damage last patch. That being said, I think you'd use a couple more buffs, but for now, it's an okay spot. So first perk I take here is Increased Capacity, into the perk here Extended Magazine, and then we pick up Fast Reload down here into Cleaving Fire. Then I pick up the perk here Retaliation, the perk Tactical Precision, and the final perks here are Gunstrike Reload and the perk Elite Hunter. Now, unfortunately, these top 4 perks here, like Home Precision, Victorious Restoration, the perk here, Pressure Precision again, and Remote Threat, these are just not worth taking at all on a Bolt Carbine one-handed, and I'd pretty much always take the Ammo Reserve option because this weapon gets a damage buff at close range, which basically turns it into a barrel stuff weapon regardless, so you definitely want to just pick it up that way. But, if you want to take the accuracy version, I guess you could, but this one's definitely better because you're not only getting a higher maximum capacity, you're also getting a better magazine capacity, which helps you shoot for longer, which means more contested health recovery and more damage in an enemy's face. And that's pretty much all there is for the weapon selection here. Now, for the perk tree, the first perk I take here is Overcharge. Damage from held and charged melee attacks increases by 25%. This is a multiplicative melee damage buff to your heavy attacks, and Aftershock being the main selling point of the Lord Executioner's Axe, it kind of makes it a mandatory pick in my opinion. Though I will say, if you want to take Armor Reinforcement, you could, but Winged Fury is not very strong. Next perk here is Consecutive Execution, killing 7 enemies in rapid succession restores equipment charged by 1. The cooldown is 90 seconds. Now, this is the best perk in this column, in my opinion. Defense Mechanism is definitely easier to use at times, but sometimes having a bomb to blow up a difficult enemy is better than having a slower CHP fade. Next perk here is Knowledge of the Enemy. Melee damage increases by 15% against Majoris or Extremis level enemies. I prefer this one on this build. You can also take things like Active Attrition or Perseverance. The 25% health damage reduction here on your charge attacks is nice for Rolling Strike, but is up to you. Next perk here, Strategic Strikes. All team members deal 20% more melee damage against Extremis and Terminus level enemies. This is just a nice free damage buff. If you're using a block weapon, you usually go for melee damage buffs as a rule. Next perk here is Furious Strikes. Hitting enemy with an attack after a jump pack dash will restore your jump pack ability charged by 1. Cooldown is 10 seconds. This perk is kind of cracked. You pretty much always take this these days. I mean, if you really want to, you could take Smiting Angel or Precision Strike, but the only time I would take these is with like a Zealous Blow here, at least for Smiting Angel, and Furious Strikes overall is just the best. Next perk here is Wings of Flame, a jump pack dash. It damages enemies off trajectory and always works as a perfect dodge and dodging an attack. This is still the best perk combo in Space Marine 2 patch 14. If you want to take Zealous Blow, you definitely can. This perk is not bad by any means. This one's just better. Next perk here is Aerial Grace. After a perk time dodge using a jump pack dash, you'll deal 30% more damage for 10 seconds. You know, this column is really your choice. Diligence, things like Pride and Duty, these are definitely good perks. And this one's just nice, like a nice little damage buff for your range and melee attacks. Final perk here is Commitment, a perfect time dodge using a jump pack dash. Restores jump packs ability charged by 1. Because you have an animation cancel tied to your jump pack dash on the Assault class, where any jump pack dash you do will animation cancel your ongoing attack or parry, this is like the de facto best perk, but other options like Ascension or even the perk your Amp Ammunition, they're not like god-awful, it's just by far the best, especially for Wings of Flame. Now for the Prestige perk options, I take Unyielding Oath first. When charging a ground pound, you become invulnerable to damage 3 seconds. This perk is incredible. It allows you to basically just barrel right through a minigun Terminator, Neurothrow waves, and stuff like that. And Duelist does work on perfect block if you want to take this. I just prefer this option. Next perk here is Fortitude. Health increases by 15%, and then your choice of Scramble Targeting or Practice Aim. Both of these perks are pretty good. I mean, a 20% range damage reduction is nice while surrounded by 5 or more enemies. This happens pretty often in the game, but, you know, flat range damage buffs are also pretty good. The final perk I would take no matter what is Hammer of Wrath. After using your jump pack, you will take 30% less range damage. Do not lose control of heavy hits. It cannot be knocked back for 15 seconds. This perk is just incredible in Space Marine 2. I mean, a 30% range damage reduction on its own on a jump pack use is good, but no knockback for 15 seconds. It's kind of power crept this perk entirely, and for now, this is like a must pick on the Assault class as far as Prestige perk options go, and that is pretty much all there is for this build, guys. I mean, the Lord Executioner's Axe is pretty strong in Space Marine 2 patch 14. Hopefully this gave you an idea of how you want to set this up. Obviously, you can change around some of the perks if you want to, but like for the Axe setup, I do think this is the overall best. And that is all I have to say in this one, guys. If you like content like this, subscribe for more. If you want to watch me live to ask me questions about the game or just come hang out, you can find me here on YouTube or on Twitch with a link in the video description, and also a link to my community Discord. I also want to say a special thank you to my channel members. Your guys' support helps me make guides like this every day pretty much. And as always, thank you for watching. Take it easy. Bye. I'll show you what this thing's good for, though. Bonk. Bonk. That spin is very good. Very good against melee enemies, especially, and Chaos Spawn. Or, you know, melee enemies, but... Also helps when they teleport onto you and, get shit on. What is this Carnifex doing?
Behold the might of the Imperial Navy. The Dauntless class light cruiser carries an outsized complement of weapons, batteries, and lances.
What do you think the best heroic is for patch 14? Assuming they don't nerf it, the power sword now with like the actual fix. With the fact that we actually found out the perk effect works, if they do make it so it doesn't affect your power rate, because the way, for those of you who are unaware, the way the power sword works right now is that after a perfect parry, you will get an empower stack, which means the next light attack you do in speed style will have a 300% damage bonus. But you can stack up to 5 of those empower stacks, and after that first light attack in speed style, all the subsequent attacks, or at least one of them, will apply that 300% bonus, even if they are not from the speed style light attacks, which means if you use something like a power rake or a power whirl, you'll be having a 300% damage bonus to those. which means you one-shot guys. Also works on the ground pound. Well, I don't know if that's intentional or not. And honestly, even if it's not intentional, you should keep it. Your first buy is that Death Wash arm. You know, this is the first patch since Reclamation last year that gave us 6 heroics. Ain't that crazy? And Icon and Power Sword to show the number of stacks, they definitely do. Just make sure it doesn't work in PvP, since PvP is a well-maintained and played game, though, that they are definitely adding content for it. Well, technically they are, right? Oh, shit. Oh, this thing's actually pretty good. Like, Aftershock, even with a 14 base strength, Adrenaline Surge stacks on Aftershock. Aftershock's a heavy hitting ability with the overcharge. And this one feels a lot more fluid on that Aftershock than the normal one does, because you get the spin off immediately. So you're getting the full attack of the Aftershock off effectively, without the massive wind up of the other one. Dude, the spin is actually good. The spin takes you pretty far. And I've noticed a lot. So when you're spinning on this thing, the backswing, like this portion here, where they're over there, you hit guys behind you all the time with this, way more than you would with the normal Aftershock. This is definitely the best of the new melees, in my opinion, besides the Salamanders, assuming that's not, you know, bugged. Lord Executioners on Bulwark is good. I think it's pretty good on Bulwark. On block weapons in general are quite good on him, because he has the advantage of Intimidating Aura. Fire Blaster canister is cool. We say this rogue's be a bit faster. I think this rogue's actually pretty fast as is. I think where this heroic really needs help is the final attack of the Thunderhammer needs to be a little faster. Or not a little faster, it needs more AoE.
Standing by. Be advised. The cruiser's crew managed to execute security protocols before they were overrun by the Xenos brood.
Fucking ramble everywhere. Like this final hit there, where I go in the overhead, that could use a bit more AoE. It actually does damage. Besides that, because it's a little awkward, the damage is pretty good. It's just a little awkward to use. I would say this one's pretty comparable to the Block Hammer. The Block Hammer is more damage, but this one feels a lot more precise. Or still a lot more fluid. Have you fought the new terminus in the wild yet? Yeah, he's pretty mean. When I fought him in the wild, he decided to spawn. Well, I had a triple lesser sorcerer spawn before I even got to him, so it was a little diabolical. But he's definitely nukeable. Like, if you're in a coordinated team, you can kill him pretty fast. He's pretty mean on his own, though. But I think that boss is great. Does the final overhead clear Bramble? I'm pretty sure it does, but just not a very wide radius. Actually, the radius of the hit itself is not that bad. The damage fall off is pretty intense, though. FTG in chat, would you pay for a new execution pack? I would, definitely. That'd probably be better than a head pack. Space Marine 2, best Warhammer 40k FPS game. That's a crazy take because it's not even an FPS. Now you still can't get the it's not, maybe if they made it a little faster to actually catch that, would be nice. Alright, get back over here. Now the reason this thing only has a doesn't have any new executions is number one, Saber's probably lazy on that front. Number two is that you can swap this thing's skin between normal Thunderhammers whenever you want. So if you had like only axe specific animations on this version, guess what? It would look pretty weird. But also I guess they could just swap that to like, you know, be animate, like the animations should be tied to the skin itself, but I think that's a little beyond what we've seen in the game so far. Also, animations in games are like they usually take forever. I know that from mod authors in games like Fallout, that animations are usually the hardest thing for them to deal with. Also depends on the game, though. That's not one. Anyone know how to get a bit better FPS running a 9800 times by 3D and 5070 still FPS drops in Siege and higher difficulties? Well, this game has terrible performance in Siege to begin with. This game is heavy on the CPU, that it is. I need a fucking NASA computer to like properly play this game at 4K, I'd imagine. If I were to stream, record, and play this game at 4K, I don't want to think about it. But there's a reason that FTG is home to the fabled 720p stream, okay? Not because we want to. Actually, we do. Actually, it's really funny to stream in 720p, I think. But besides that, it's also because we feel like it, but also because the game runs like shit. Why stream in 4K when you stream in 480p? That's true, dude. Listen, people were watching shit in 480p for years. Why should they stop now? There's no proven performance workarounds, not that I've looked up. I mean, there's probably something that helps. I mean, genuinely, or not genuinely, generally, turning down shadows in games helps a lot. That's usually one of the most intensive things. Shadows, like lighting and shadows, those are usually performance hogs in games. Way more than you'd expect. Textures are not too bad if you have a decent graphics card, I find. But like anything that's CPU intensive is usually... That's where I find most people's systems struggle. Dude, what is this guy doing? Dude, what? As for more about VRAM capacity, yeah, so not your CPU. Well, I mentioned GPU. Yeah, shadows tend to be the killers for most people in games. Alright, so we need E and Z. What's up, y'all? What's up, Magda Bomb? E and Z, E and Z. I must have just run past them. I want to light the carbine, man. The spread is Chiefs. Yeah, and if you give up the spread, I mean, the spread, it's a close range weapon, so who really cares? But also, the spread, the bigger problem is the damage. It's just not there. It always feels like it takes an extra magazine over what it should. The CHP recovery is definitely there, though. Now, I'm kind of stuck on whether I like the fact that this weapon doesn't use the adrenaline surge stack immediately when you hit 5 enemies. So what will happen on this one is when you hit 5 or more enemies with a single attack on your aftershock only on the PTS, you will get 1 adrenaline surge stack. But that stack is not used until you are yeah, so the adrenaline stack is not used on your weapon until I catch him. Yeah. Look at the backswing. The shit hits enemies behind you. The aftershock would not have hit those guys. Or no aftershock wouldn't have. Anyways, what I was saying is, once you gain that adrenaline surge stack from hitting 5 enemies with a single hit, it will not be used on the same aftershock. So even though this thing does a double spin like this, the first hit or the second hit, whichever one triggers a 5-hit combo, you will get that adrenaline surge stack, and it will not use it for the rest of that aftershock, so it'll count as 1 attack for whatever reason. So that's actually a good thing if you're trying to stack up your stacks after, but it's actually worse for the overall damage of this weapon. So I'm not sure which one I prefer, because there's downsides to both. John Bug, they've been a tier 1 for 2 months.
Cyclonic armament secured for now. Talassa, you are nearing the reactor cooling hall. Report on its condition when you arrive. Of Xenos permeates the cooling hall. All squads, we have updated our battle stratagems. Head it on.
What do you like more, fencing or block? I think block at this point is just objectively better than fencing once using the Argent Edge. If not only because gun strikes are buggy as fuck and parrying in general can be buggy. The Ravener's buying time for zone threats. Definitely felt like that, didn't it? Well, it's totally over until a proper frost axe. Listen, I'm not sure if we're ever getting a frost axe, but if we do, I'll be there.
Talassa, I need you to disable the entire cooling array. Concentrate fire on the exposed cooling rods. Target the vulnerable cooling rods.
It's actually pretty fun. If you think a month of PTR is a good amount of time, well, they don't put them out for a month, so no. Put them out for a week. A month is way too long. See, that final slam did more. I like this weapon a lot more. Good for that, though. The whirl here is like deceptively high damage too. That didn't trigger him. ATG, are you doing hard strats today? Probably not. I might do the next weekly today, but not the current one. So if you'll need to carry something, not stream for that. There are definitely people in the community who help out with that, though. Quite a bit. I know the weekly art strat ahead of time because they're all data mined. Most things are in this game. Pretty much all content that ever comes out for this game is known like months and months and months in advance. Like we knew about the Needle Vortex Beast and like the Blood Angels packs in year one, like before year one even had like lethal difficulty for the Blood Angels. Oh, we did actually spend it there. Look at that. Interesting. So it can spend it on the last hit. I think it's really good, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I think it's really good. With way more utility than normal Aftershock. Or I should say, it feels a lot less clunky to pull off than normal Aftershock does. Aftershocks do more damage, but still is a lot. I mean, one comboing Majora's is pretty good, right? Sees Fox. Also takes you very far.
Identify blockages and remove Xenos organisms.
Nice try, loser.
Identify blockages and remove Xenos organisms.
Right, finally. Third time's a charm, right? This is gun's actually pretty good at this portion. Okay.
Keep destroying the rods.
Oh.
Registering extreme temperature fluctuation. Plasma cooling efficacy surveilled.
Survive all that to get 20% HP loss against one Minotaurus.
Excellent, Talassa. You will need to repeat the same process at the secondary. Access granted the bridge console.
Oh, and then lose the rest. Awesome. That was an awkward spot. After all that... Okay, and he parry bugs me. Pretty cool. Whatever. We'll be fine. Having one whip warrior in front of you and one behind you is always one of the most obnoxious experiences. You can't really double parry them. Alright, let's go into... Astral positioning is pretty important. I love overlapping desynced attacks. Super fun. Yeah, it's hard, like, sometimes my brain just registers. I'm like, was that a desync attack that just happened to me with the parry bug? It's funny how many players don't even know there's a parry bug in this game to begin with, that, like, parries will literally just phase. It kind of tells you how much... or you can pay attention to what's going on in the game half the time, but... Yes, this game will literally rob you of parries. Since launch, it's been doing that. Alright, this portion's always the worst by yourself, but surely this time. This will definitely be a stim. So. I guess we could just use this stim. You never know. A rage guy would probably one-shot us there. It's probably hard to fix because it's been around forever. I imagine so. So some patches it is worse than others, and I imagine it's a geometry issue. I have to wonder. Or maybe they just don't care. That's also an option. Yeah, the ammo before I even get all of these. Alright. This is a hammer or an axe? Both. Both is good. This is the heroic thunder axe hammer.
Smells like fresh munitions.
Is that one getting clapped in melee sometimes? I had no idea. Yeah, the game doesn't really tell you that it doesn't work sometimes, but you know, why would it? Yeah, the main issue with the parry bug, so when you have a parry phase in this game, the enemy's attack will just, you won't take any damage from the parry. You just won't get any benefits of a parry. So you won't get block charges, you won't get to stagger the enemy, you won't get a gunstrike opportunity. Which, like, on its own is not the worst thing ever, but it snowballs. So let's say you're in a tight position where there's like double whip warriors on you. Well, you can't actually parry again because this counts as a full parry animation. So if I parry like this, see, this is a long animation. I can't parry. I'm spamming my key. You're being rude. You're also being rude. Perish. You have me there, but... Ain't Underbirth over the tier 1 for 3 months. What I'm trying to say is, it snowballs. So, let's say you miss a parry against a Lictor, or like the parry doesn't register, not that you actually missed it. Well, now you're stuck dealing with like the Lictor still in your face on what could have been a block charge that would have saved your life. Which is why I would consider it to be the worst bug in the game at the moment. It's this launch. Alright, we actually need ammo because we are running out like crazy. I missed the biome, or how awkward. That's the patch 14 testing feel so far. I think this is a good patch, just buggy as fuck on the PTS. I think like for what this patch is, this was an awful public test server because it was very hard to test anything. But as far as the content that's here, the new boss is cool. That's probably the coolest boss in this game, in my opinion. Did a really good job. You play solo boss because there are less enemies, now I play solo boss because it's harder and more entertaining. There can be fewer enemies, but you can also still get the same amount. I mean, I think if you want to get better at Space Marine 2, the best way to possibly do that is through solo. You are forced to deal with everything in the game on your own. And when you don't have people helping you out or dealing with obnoxious factors in the middle of a fight, you're going to inherently get better at dealing with those. It's just how the human brain works. What will these heroic weapons be coming? Patch 14. Let's play the heartbeat through the trash flow level. Basically the same as true solo. Not really, it's like a team perks. In true solo, you're forced to just deal with your build and only your build. If you want to make it hard, you can always play a hard strat with true solo. Teammates frag spam. They need to honestly make it so frags do not stun your teammates. Like, having mechanics in the game that your teammates can actively fuck you over on is pretty toxic, and they had the foresight to make it so bots don't do that, so I don't really know why they did it to let players do it. Yeah, it's basically, it takes so much time for assault. This part just sucks in True Soul. Also feels like the spawns are up in the PTS a bit. I'm pretty sure the actually I know for a fact that the AI director is like server end in a lot of cases, or like it's part of the server. At least part of it must be. And you can definitely tell that, or they did do some hidden changes to the AI director every patch, because last patch was like all range spam.
Talassa, do not let the reactors cool down. This cruiser will soon perform its final task. Proceed to the decks below and force the
10k years later, the objective is done, I know. Thank God, those were like the last objective you actually had to do for this one. We're just gonna grab ammo. You'd think the fully automatic secondary would be pretty good at like destroying the, at actually getting to the generators, but no. Actually took 5 business days. Apparently patch 14 is dropping late this month or early August. I mean, that's like the only reasonable time frame for it. I think to say anything else is kind of silly. Because they're not going to drop it in the middle of the community event that's going on until the 15th. Or is it 19th? 19th, yeah. So, and they're not going to drop it like within 2 weeks or 3 weeks of the brand new patch they're doing for anniversary. So, that's also the historical patch drop for the post-major patch they had. So what they've done for the past 2 years is patch 10, not patch 9, excuse me, patch 8 with siege mode. They also dropped the quality of life patch 9 right after that, and that was in late July. And that one was even sooner than when we got the Purgation update, because Purgation dropped on May 21st, the skulls. Last year they actually had a PTS for siege mode, and they dropped the patch officially on June 23rd or something. I hate how much warriors desync parry you for the whip warriors. If they didn't do that, block would be so much more fun against. What happened there again? Like, what is that? It's 2 in a row. They do it all the time. Now these tight corridors in this map were born for the whirlwind.
Talassa, have you received word from our brother in combat squad Heraton? His approach vector should have taken him through the technical underbelly. These corridors bear the scars of war, but we have heard nothing from our brother.
Actually, the new boss can damage through walls, not as far as I can tell. He can definitely fit his laser beam through like some pretty obnoxious shit, though.
Roast them in their foul carapaces. This is ill-advised, Talassa. If you do not rig the reactor to detonate, the cyclonic warheads will be...
He doesn't have any wave attack like a Nerf throw. Why would you assume you can damage through walls? You can teleport on your ass, though. What's your favorite Bulwark build right now? That Power Sword build I'm addicted to. Power Sword Bulwark might actually be the most entertaining build in Space Marine 2. Pretty fun. Like a block Power Sword and Intimidating Aura goes hard. Motherfucker just hid from me. That shit. This patch have a set date. It doesn't have a set date, but like the date's pretty obvious. Like, I mean, it's gonna be early August or late July. It's not really much reason to expect anything else, given all historical data ever. It's like people say it's every patch for me, where it's like, FGG, why do you keep saying it's coming out at like X date? And I'm like, well, because it fucking comes out every time at X date. Pattern recognition, people. That's all it takes. That's most of. Also, just look at, unless it's a holiday season, it's a little different then, because companies will do different things. But like, the company's hyping up something and like intentionally keeping release dates a secret. Everyone's like, okay, this one's getting shadow dropped. Like pretty much every single launch date has been guessed for a reason. I told you the whirlwind. FG's dad works at Saber, that's how he knows, guys. Yeah, I don't even know what I said for the patch launches, but early to the late of the end of a month is almost always it after it. So the PTS is almost always put 1 month before the patch drops, or like a few weeks before the patch drops. Like the end of the PTS, I should say. Okay. Thank you for the $5 super chat. As someone who hasn't played this game since launch, what can I expect the grind to be like now? Pretty intense. There's a lot to unlock. The end game grind of Space Marine 2 is here. It's just the dedicated player base doesn't realize its heroics. Because unlocking that many, so if you look at how many heroics are in the game now, that's a lot of grinding for accolades. Which is why they are putting in so many new functions, because they want new players. Okay, honest. Of all mechanics in this game that I hate, that is like chief among them. It's like these fucking little guys can ignore your slams and just interrupt a full aftershock. Actually, no, number one's Enrage, because Enrage is just a shit mechanic. 24 to be exact. Well, not just 24 heroics. Heroic cosmetics as well. That's after you level up. But I understand what they're trying to do, because games naturally bleed players and then get new players over time. That's how games work. But the player base that's playing Space Marine 2 is not at all identical to the player base that was playing 2 years ago. But I can tell you right now, it's like off of me playing this game, there are people in my chat that I have never seen again anywhere who have just simply moved on from this game and probably won't be back until Space Marine 3. Like my first moderator for Space Marine 2, my Space Marine 2 chat on YouTube, he's still on my friends list. He hasn't played this game in like a year and a half. Not since maybe patch 10. So what they're trying to do now is they're trying to give a cross progression to the to all the modes. So new players that come in are incentivized to play everything. But I'm not sure how. I mean, it's a good idea in the sense that, like, this is something Halo Reach did, where it's like, alright, you can get your credits across all game modes, and everybody I've ever talked to loved Halo Reach's multiplayer progression. Probably the best progression ever put to a PvP game, in my opinion, at least for, like, at least a shooter like that. Let's go in. What do you think the most efficient leveling strat is now? Still decap. I still have a full guide on that. It's still up to date. It's still decap. I might make another one, but I mean, it's just decap with Gene Seed. It's just the easiest mission with the highest XP amount on, like, the highest difficulty you can complete. It's just how you play the game. It used to be, so I got a lot of flack for saying that Siege mode was the fastest. It was objectively the fastest, which is why I was the first person in the world to get a power axe to max level that had it anywhere. Because exactly what we fucking did. And then guess who was, and then the first post of a Max Tech Marine was also on this channel with the new method, just decaf and Gene Seed. If you have people running you through those are the two fastest. But yeah, Siege mode was the fastest for a while and no longer is. It was just mathematically the fastest if you actually knew how to play the game. But somehow it's the old FTG's fault that Saber's matchmaking system lets low-level players play things, because they were definitely not going to do that before. I got so much hate for that even on, like, even if you go to, like, an AI, if you go to an AI and be like, what is the most controversial thing FTG has ever said, it'll bring up the Siege mode leveling grind. But it's just objectively true. And if it wasn't true, show literally anybody that got a faster power axe that was still working, because you won't find them. Or show a faster XP rate than what we were doing, because you're certainly not going to find it in absolute difficulty, and definitely not hard strats now. Say Siege mode is mathematically fast if you make it all the way through. I mean, it's only to 5 waves, or it was only to 5 waves. That's not a hard thing to do at all. I think you have a middling understanding of the game, you can do that. Especially now. Not that it works anymore, but it did. Well, I was just saying what the fastest method was. I didn't say it was the easiest. But math don't lie. Look at this. You can solo 1 through 5 with ease. I mean, you definitely can, but I also imagine the people that want to level up the fastest are literally brand new, which means they probably have no idea the mechanics of the game even work. So for like, if you were literally brand new to the game, jumping to Siege mode waves 1 through 5 with no idea of how it works, you're probably gonna die. So that's probably a lot of the frustration can come from the players who are like, it's not that fast. I mean, I'll be real, if you are in this chat right now, you're probably part of, like, the top 1% of Space Marine 2's player base in terms of dedication to the game, because you probably wouldn't be here otherwise. Unless you just bought the game, which does happen occasionally, but I see people bring this up all the time about, like, oh, everybody knows about, like, this one patch that dropped, everybody knows this. No, they don't. They simply do not. And if they did, they wouldn't keep asking me questions. But you find this a lot in like dedicated player bases for a game, where they just assume that all knowledge is known. It's humorous, I say. It's scripted. Oh, that may have been a mistake. Whatever. That's how it was yesterday for me. I got my ass whooped 3 times. Pretty sure the others fellows thought I sucked. Well, you know, it's okay to get your ass whooped, dude. There is literally nothing wrong. You have to understand, like, at this point in Space Marine 2's life cycle, the players that are like regularly playing, they've been here for like 2 years. Dude. They just assume everybody's like, they shit talk the casuals when, like, first of all, a lot of them are a lot more casual than they think they are at like all games, but also, more importantly, they don't understand that if you were to look back in time at how they were playing in their first 10 hours, they were probably worse than a lot of these new players. So they have less resources. Oh, that was actually almost rude, these guys did, man. I just want to spin them. I guess that works. It wasn't clean. It wasn't clean. Whirlwind Axe wins.
Now, engage the console to cripple the reactor. And Talassa, when those magnetic stabilizers stop...
What's up, FTG? How we doing? What's up, KNG? We are doing pretty well. We were just whirlwinding. We were just whirlwinding, talking about siege mode leveling controversies and other things.
Plasma cores are now exposed. Caution advised. Reactor critical, Talassa. Disengage.
I recommend newer players to do Absolute Ballistics Engine for XP. It's a very easy mission and medium length. That one is also pretty good. I think at this point in Space Marine 2's life cycle, though, the Hive Tyrant is a far easier boss than the normal on-mission bosses are, because he will not spawn Extremis on you. So a Carnifex and a Neurothrope can be more of a team ender for you than the Hive Tyrant is. And also, there are breaks in Decap, and Decap's pretty slow, so I think that it's easier now than Ballistic Engine. But when the game first came out, you only got 1 boss per mission anyways, and the Hive Tyrant's moveset was like predominantly unknown by the player base. But then with patch 9? With one of the patches, it was either patch 7, 8, or 9, they added in reinforcements to the on-mission terminus. And ever since then, they've been harder. Significantly. I actually need to I'm actually on low HP now. I'm gonna pay attention. Awkward. Whatever.
Hurry. The cruiser has begun breaking apart. We will wait as long as we can. Make haste, pilot. Brace for turbulence. If not for your valor, Talon.
1 boss per mission sounds so boring now. It wasn't just 1 boss per mission either. It was 1 boss with no reinforcements. It was just a boss. A guy. STG, what's the weakest class right now? The same one it's been for like a year. Vanguard. The class rankings right now go like Vanguard, Heavy, Tech Marine. Oh, actually, Tech Marine Sniper are pretty interchangeable, I would say. Tech Marine Sniper. You can actually... I'd say the top 5 classes, they all have their use case scenarios that make them very strong, but Tech Marine, Sniper, Assault. Arguably, Sniper's above Assault for hard strats and operations, because he's just insane. But in terms of team comps, I would say Assault's a bit better. But, it's hard to put Sniper. I'll be honest, we got 84,000 melee damage. That's 100,000 damage in that game. That's just a normal absolute, goddamn.